One of the most commonly used trolling baits is a wire-rigged double hook ballyhoo. It's a very simple bait, and we're going to talk about rigging it right now. There are a few things you're going to need. I have right here a number 5 wire by AFW, American Fishing Wire, number 5 wire. I have 2 hooks. I have a 3407 SSD Mustad 5.0 and a 3407 SSD Mustad 6.0. The reason why I have 2 different size hooks is because the smaller hook will actually snap right into the bigger hook and become your double hook rigged. Some guys will use a hook that has an eye that opens and closes with a pair of pliers. I find those hooks to be weak. I don't trust them, so therefore I don't use them. You're also going to need some ballyhoo copper wire. I prefer using a piece of 12-inch or 14-inch copper wire because you want to have enough wire to really tighten down on the bait, and you can always cut excess wire off, but you can't add more copper wire if you're short. So a piece of copper wire, in this case 14 inches. And then you're also going to need a small swivel, a Spro swivel, number 80 is what I like to use. Very strong swivel, but low profile and small. So let's start first. First thing we're going to do is we're going to build the rig. So we're going to take the front hook, the 5.0 Mustad, and we're simply going to twist a haywire twist onto that hook. Now remember, when you're doing your haywire twist, that your haywire twist, you're actually twisting the 2 pieces of wire together. You're not twisting one piece over the other. And 5 or 6 twists is sufficient to make a nice hold for your haywire twist. The second part of the haywire twist is your barrel twist, and that is when you take the one piece and twist it over the other so that it kind of looks like a barrel. So we're going to do that and get our rig ready to go here. Now you're never going to cut your wire with a pair of pliers. When you cut this off, you're actually going to bend it out and then push the little piece of tag end wire away, and it'll break right off just like butter. And there you have your haywire twist. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take our C-witch and we're going to want to put that onto the wire. Remember, a C-witch runs where this big fluffy part bends down over the bait as it goes through the water. So you want to make sure that that's the lead and that's what's sitting on your leader correctly. Okay. After that, I'm going to take one of the small 80-pound Spro swivels and I'm going to bring that down onto my wire leader material. So I'm now going to twist a haywire twist onto the other end so that I have a nice short piece of wire. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. Now I'm going to take the ballyhoo. First thing I'm going to do with the ballyhoo is I'm going to run my fingers right down the belly of the ballyhoo. I may even take a knife, and right here at this little anal opening, I may just kind of put a little bit of a slit there. And then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to rub it right down, and I'm going to remove all the stuff that's inside the belly cavity of this bait. Just like that. So now I'm going to have a much better bait to rig. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the eyeballs out of the head of the ballyhoo, and this is going to make it easier for me to pass my copper wire through and just rig a much neater, nicer bait. Now we're going to get ready for rigging the ballyhoo. I'm going to take the piece of copper wire and I'm going to go up through the bottom of the eye of the hook, the lead hook. I'm going to fold it over the top of the shaft of that hook just a little bit, and then I'm going to wrap the other end of that ballyhoo wire right onto the shaft of the hook. Want to get it on there nice and tight and firm. All right, now I'm ready to go. So I'm going to pick up my bait. I'm going to measure out where I want to have that hook. I want my copper wire to be just even with the gill plate on one side of the ballyhoo. So I know that. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to remove a few belly scales, and then I'm going to make a nice straight small slit right where that lead hook's going to go. Then I'm going to pick up my back hook and I'm going to measure that with the eye of that hook right over the slit that I cut for the front hook. And I'm going to do the same thing, remove a few scales, and in the proper location I'm going to make another little slit for the back hook, just like that. You want to make sure they're nice and straight and as small as possible. Now I'm going to take my back hook and I'm going to slide that temporarily into the belly of the bait through that back slit, just like that. Next step, take the front hook behind the gill plates. There's going to be a little cavity there, and you're going to kind of fold the bait down so that the hook goes back and comes out of that front slit that you made earlier. Now I'm going to take the two hooks, I'm going to pass the point of the front hook through the eye of the back hook, snap the two hooks together, and then push the entire thing up into the cavity of the bait. So you can see that I have a nice straight setup here with my hooks. Now I want to make sure that my leader wire is running nice and flat down the front of the ballyhoo. The first step is going to be take my copper wire and go behind both gill plates on either side of the bait. Then I'm going to take the copper wire and I'm going to pass it through the eye socket of the bait once, nice and snug, and then I'm going to do it a second time just to get it nice and tight. Twice. Snug that down just a little bit, pull back on my hooks, make sure everything is looking good and is straight. Next step is to take this copper wire and I'm going to go up through from the bottom to the top. On a ballyhoo, you're going to notice a little wrinkle on the top lip. That lip has a little soft spot. So I'm going to take that ballyhoo wire, that copper wire, and I'm going to go up through the bottom jaw, remove any scales that might be in the way, and I'm going to go and find that little soft spot, and it's going to go right through the soft spot of the ballyhoo. And I'm going to lay my wire down flat again. I want to make sure my copper wire is always going around my leader wire. And I'm going to pull that down and make sure it's nice and snug and tight. And then I'm going to start to wrap the copper wire up the bill of the ballyhoo. When I get 2 or 3 wraps on there, I'm going to break my bill off. And what I want to do when I do that is I always want to break from the top down. And the reason I'm going to do that is you'll see a little piece of skin is going to come off of the bottom there. And that's actually going to create a little channel which gives your wire, your leader wire, a little bit of a better lay down so that the bait looks a little bit nicer in the water. Now I'm going to continue to wrap that copper wire one right after the other all the way up to the end of the bait. And when I get to the end, if I have a little bit of wire left, I can either cut it off or I can wrap back down towards the eye of the ballyhoo, towards the face. And now my bait is ready to go. I have a double hook wire rig J-hook ballyhoo all ready to go.